OK. Donc, bienvenue, bienvenue. Aujourd'hui, c'est le mercredi 7 avril. Bonjour, bienvenue. Donc, aujourd'hui, les objectifs. On va vraiment réviser un petit peu. On va réviser les deux modules, en fait. La description physique et aussi la description des vêtements. On va essayer de faire les deux en même temps. Nous allons voir si ça se passe bien ou mal. Donc, échauffement, ça va. Révision et puis des questions logistiques et pour demain. Donc, pour un échauffement, comment ça va? Comment ça va aujourd'hui? Et je vous demande tous de parler. Je vais essayer d'avoir au moins la moitié de vous répondre à cette question. OK, comment ça va? Comment ça va aujourd'hui? How might you respond if somebody asks you that question? What are some ways you might respond in French? Ça va bien, ouais. Ça va bien. We got another one in the chat. OK. Oui, ça va bien ou ça va mal. Donc, moi, ça va bien. Moi, ça va mal. Ou aujourd'hui, je suis ou je suis aujourd'hui. Comment ça va? Et voici des images pour vous inspirer. Peut-être vous identifier avec, avec numéro 3. Je ne sais pas. Hein. Donc, comment ça va aujourd'hui? OK, donc comment ça va aujourd'hui? Ça va, ça va. Ça va, ouais. Non, ça va pas. Can you guess what they're saying in one of these? What? Maybe number one. How do you think number one is doing? This guy up here. Comment ça va? How do you think he'd respond? Maybe you could put it in the chat if you want. You know, I'm recording. I don't want y'all to feel shy. How's number one doing? If I said, comment ça va? How do you think he'd respond? Oui, d'accord, ouais, ça va très mal, ouais. Je suis malade, peut-être, oui, peut-être, je suis malade. Ou je suis fatigué, peut-être. Peut-être il est très fatigué, je suis fatigué. Et numéro 2, numéro 2. How might this person respond if we said, comment ça va? How might he respond? How do you think he might respond? Comme ci, comme ça, ouais, très bien. Comme ci, comme ça, ouais. Ça va, très bien, d'accord. Et numéro 3, how do you think he might respond if you asked him, comment ça va? Maybe he's had 12 cups of coffee today. Confus, ouais. Ouais, confus, ouais. Confus has an interesting meaning in French. It means like, I am sorry. It means kind of like I made a mistake, I made an accident, I'm feeling a little embarrassed, I'm a little sorry, like I'm just coming clean. So confus doesn't actually translate, it's a faux ami, it's a false friend. So maybe confus, maybe more like, so maybe he's confus, maybe he is, un peu perdu, je suis un peu perdu, like I'm a little bit lost. Ouais. Et numéro 3, je vais très bien. Oui, ça va très bien. Ouais. Excellent. It's over the top. It'd be too much, right? Je vais très bien. Ça va très bien. Super. OK, ouais. OK. Donc, au premier semestre, donc révisons un petit peu. Au premier semestre, donc le semestre auparavant, nous avons révisé la description physique d'une personne. Donc, Donc, cette personne est grande, cette personne est petite, je suis gros, je suis mince, je suis beau, hein, etc. Nous avons aussi révisé la description psychologique. Euh, la description psychologique. Donc, quelqu'un est gentil ou sympa, okay, ou méchant ou sérieux, ou je ne sais pas, okay, amusant. Okay. Nous avons étudié le vocabulaire du style et des vêtements. Hein, et nous avons aussi utilisé quel et ce pour faire des distinctions. Hein, donc, quel vêtement, quel pantalon tu préfères? Tu préfères quel pantalon? Ah, je préfère ce pantalon. Hein? And maybe you're feeling really confident with all these things and you're like, yeah, I got that. I'm so ready to move forward. But I'm assuming a lot of y'all are probably feeling a little bit like, it's been a while. So I'm assuming that. All right, so let's do a little bit of review, okay? Révisons, révisons. Hein? Donc, sors un crayon et une feuille de papier. Hein? Donc, un crayon, sors un crayon et une feuille de papier. Donc, comme ça. Ouais. Probably want a blank page. Hein? Hein? Un crayon et une feuille de papier. So please take a moment to do that. People at home. OK? Donc, mets-toi avec une partenaire. Mets-toi avec une partenaire. So what I'll do is I'll send you into breakout rooms for a little bit with just one partner. And so I guess it'll be kind of random. I was going to say put yourself with a partner, but I think it'll be kind of random, except for the folks in here. I'll set you up with somebody in Zoom, except for that one. Okay? So you're going to be working with a partner for this. Regarde les images suivantes et note quelques adjectifs descriptifs. Donc, regarde les images. Je vais vous montrer des images. Et pensez à quelques adjectifs descriptifs. Et note aussi les vêtements. OK? So now I'll show you some images of people, and I'd like you to start thinking of brainstorming. Okay, some descriptive adjectives, but then also some clothing. Okay. And then we'll get to 5, 6, and 7. All right, so I'll explain that in a moment. So first, take a moment and note down at least half of these people, try to think of at least one descriptive adjective, and you'll have more time to think about this, okay? But for at least half of these people, maybe you could number them so you remember who's who. And I picked these people thinking you probably don't know who these people are. Maybe you do. Okay, note un adjectif descriptif et un des vêtements. Think about clothing. For person number 1, the clothing doesn't matter quite as much. Can't tell as much. Okay, et note aussi des vêtements. So again, for at least half of these people, make a note of some clothing as well as a description. Okay. OK. Ensuite, tu vas lancer le dé. You're gonna throw the dice, and I'll send you a link to some digital dice. Okay. Then you're gonna throw the dice to know which person you're describing, 1 through 6. Okay. And so you're describing, et puis ton partenaire, ta partenaire doit dessiner une image. Dessiner une image de la personne. Okay. So you're describing this person and they're going to be drawing it, okay? Or maybe you're the one drawing and they're the one describing. So if you're drawing, you're going to be listening really carefully and trying to do a good drawing. The art style doesn't matter, the quality, but you want it to be accurate, right? The idea is, okay, can you understand what your partner is saying in describing it? And if you're describing, you want to give really good describers so that you know you're giving good instructions on how to draw the person. Okay. Et puis, prends une photo de l'image. So you can take a photo of the image that you drew with your iPad. And then switch. Prends le rôle de ton partenaire, ta partenaire. Okay. All right. So you'll switch at least once. All right. So everybody should have a turn to both draw and to describe. And if you have time, we're going to be spending a good amount of time on this, right? So to really take your time with the description, try to give really, really thorough descriptions, really try to review, try to remember as much as you can, right, of how to describe people. And really take your time doing that and then switch so that if you were describing, you have a turn to draw. So if you were describing, you have a turn to draw. And if you were drawing, then you have a chance to describe. Okay, and then at the end of class, I'll ask you to turn in some of this stuff. And I'll explain that in a little bit, okay? I'll ask you to turn in the photo, to share a link of the photo of the drawing you did. Okay, and then answer questions A, B, C, and D, which are more just reflection questions. Okay. Okay, so you've taken a photo of your drawing. And now what I'd like you to do is to head on over to Canvas and take a look at this assignment. All right. So you've done this activity. You both did one drawing and you did one description, or maybe you did more, depending on how much time you spent, right? So you did at least one drawing and at least one description. What I'd like you to do is to upload your photo that you just took to your Google Drive so you can share it with me. You'll share that link here. So you'll hit Start Assignment and you'll just copy and paste that link so I can see the drawing. And then you'll answer A, B, C, and D in English. Okay, so A and B, you can just give a number. You can elaborate more if you want. All right, you're welcome to elaborate more if you want to explain why you chose that number. And then C and D, you're going to finish those sentences. All right, so you can copy and paste the sentence and then just finish it in English. All right. And I'll ask you to do that before class tomorrow. So you can finish it now with the time we have remaining until 11, or you can do it tonight. And what I really look forward to hearing here is how you're doing, right? Were you really confident with it? Were you not so confident? What are some things we could review? And that way we can really use our time effectively tomorrow and Friday before starting our next chapter. Because it's been a while. It's been a while. Okay, so I will give you some time to do that. And then I also want to open up question de logistique. Any questions about kind of how the quarter is going to go, or how to find stuff on Canvas or things like that we talked about yesterday. So I will stick around. This is technically the office hours portion of the class. I will stick around to help or to answer questions, and you're welcome to hang out with me. Otherwise, I will say au revoir et à demain.